Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to
Wednesday
Wake Up.
What is that?
It's a whole thing. It's like we're a radio show. I'm so tired.
Wednesday morning.
Okay.
It's a tired
Anyway.
morning. Good morning, everybody.
Today we're talking about, if you read our caption, is manifestation, which is a really big topic, but we're both really pulled, I think this week, well, Kim's really been into manifestation for many years, but I've been watching some great YouTubers and reading some great books, and it's just really been on my mind to talk about because it's not something.
Did he just get the coffee again? Just drink it.
But everybody's
We're so
we're
silly.
live. The dog definitely drank some coffee. Okay, I'm gonna put this down.
Oh man. I mean,
Anyway,
I feel like you probably, I'm going to keep talking, but I feel like you probably feel, and if you realize what the word manifestation, which is like creation of your reality, it's infused in everything we talk about. I mean, I feel like every Wednesday wake up we've had so far has had a little bit of that, besides maybe the supplement one.
I feel like last week we were talking about
the power of your words.
Yes, the power of your words, and how when we have a specific thought for the day or our words that we talk over people or to ourselves, it can determine our entire day. So manifestation is like a bigger version of that. It is really manifesting what we want for our whole lives and dedicating ourselves to those positive thoughts, to those ideas of something bigger, and not getting stuck in the where we are now kind of thing, and like focusing on that so much, but where we want to be and manifesting like our dreams. And
yeah, sounds cheesy, but it's really possible. And I just want to preface by, like, I got really into law of attraction, I don't know, 2017-ish, somewhere in there, and it was like changed my entire life. And I was like running around telling every single person who would listen, who had any kind of issue or problem, like, hey, you have some kind of control. And I think part of this is it goes along with, and you know, some religions may look at it in different ways, because it's like taking the power into yourself, where to me I've incorporated that as like a really whole oneness of, like, I do look at it as God. So you can look at it in any way. You can look at it from a really secular point of view. You can look at it from a really spiritual point of view.
I think it really could be religious,
it
because
really,
you're really putting it out there into God, into the universe, into whatever, and
right, you're asking,
making things happen.
And it's not that you're, I mean, if you go within, like, you can do this during a prayer session, you can do this during a meditation session with yourself, like, you're going, excuse me, to, like, looking to your innermost being, your innermost soul, which is one with something greater, whatever you may think that is. Like, it's one with nature, or it's one with your God, or it's one with your family and the universe. Like, you can look at it any way that you want. But my point in all of that is not to at all discount what you have gone through in your life. And to say, like we said this last week too, like, just set aside all your pains and just focus on the positive. Because sometimes you do need to recognize where you are and take care of situations. But the basis of this is that we are all energy. Everything is energy. Everything in the world, including water and plants and animals and rocks, have some kind of energetic essence. Like, that's everything.
Yeah,
like,
and
atoms can be split and split and split again and again, over and over.
We didn't learn about this in school or anything, but when you realize this, you realize that certain things in nature actually fuel you and change your energy, and I mean, everything does, but it's really cool when you start to realize that it's really real. It's not just in your head and like digging your feet into the ground and all these different things. Really
physically, like
change.
Walking outside with your shoes off. I mean, there's a great movie, I think it's called Grounding on Netflix. If you, I mean, this is like a historical, like anybody who's really spiritual is like to that movie. But if you don't know anything about it, I just watched that probably it was like this year, earlier this year.
It's a good place to start. I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think it's called Grounding. It's either Netflix or Amazon Prime, but that just talks, and it was like an engineer who stumbled upon some, I mean, there's so many different things we could talk about. there's a book called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. He is a biologist who has totally transferred. He was a teacher, I can't remember which school, like Harvard or Yale, one of the big Ivy Leagues, and he totally transitioned the way he teaches and what he teaches because he realized what he was teaching just wasn't true. We are not like static beings. Like things are ever changing all the time. I feel like I just want to talk about 10 million things, but we need to stay focused on the basics.
Of it. I think that my biggest aha moment was when you start researching, like if you want to be an entrepreneur and have your own business and all these things, when you start researching, you know, the most successful people in business, they all know about this. And not a lot of people go into a business and have a really successful business if they are not using the law of attraction and manifesting and staying in this higher frequency energy, and that's really, really important to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you might not even call it that. I mean, there's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He didn't use those words,
no,
but it's the same kind of thing, and that's one of the top business books that, you know, many people have used. The idea is that, like I said, everything has energy, and so when you have a new job, I'm hard to remember. We were talking about what we were going to say before, and it was perfect. You know, like, did we already say this?
No.
There's, if you decide you really want to be an entrepreneur, but right now you're a short order cook.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And you really don't want to be a short order cook anymore, but you really want to be an entrepreneur. These are two different vibrations. And so if you want to get to the entrepreneur place, you need to really get your body, mind, soul, everything in that same vibration as what you want. And so there are numerous ways that you can do that, but having the daily intentions like we talked about, you can make things like vision boards, which you can get just like a piece of poster board or an app in your phone or just a piece of paper and just draw out pictures, cut out things from magazines or newspapers, cut and paste clip art on your phone, but put a whole bunch of things together. It could just be, I did a vision board in like my notes app, and I would just find like just different images of like clothes that I really thought would be really cool for me to wear, or like think like the smile I would feel when I was like owning my own business, or whatever it is that you feel, because the idea is you want to get the feeling. Like, what will it feel like when I have that goal? What will it feel like to have that new car? What will it feel like to have a new baby? What will it feel like to have a new house? And like really get yourself, you have to like psych yourself up.
Yeah, like really take the moment to imagine those and really feel it. Don't just put it on that paper. Don't just write about it.
Right, like put all the different sensations, all the different, like the smells. What's it going to be like in your new house? What kinds of foods are going to be cooking in the stove? What kinds of decorations are you going to have hanging on the wall? When you walk through the door, is your heart going to soar? Are you going to feel really light and easy because your new job is more aligned with who you are as a person, where right now maybe you dread your job every morning? Now I'm going to wake up every morning excited to start the day. And again, I know like I go over the top because that's how I've figured out, like I start off over the top and then I go down through, right? We go down through the day, and you have to like keep bringing yourself back. And you don't need to get as over the top as I do, but
it's not easy.
Whatever
it's a practice.
Right, like I woke up this morning and I know, like in my head, I'm repeating to myself, like I'm in charge of me. Like I'm doing A Course in Miracles, which is a whole other thing. But the topic I'm focusing on today is that everything, like my freedom is within me, and no one else in the world,
in your brain.
no one. And me includes God. Me includes the universe. Like I am one with all of that. But my ego mind is the only thing that can make a decision to change. And so when I woke up and I'm tired, like I've been having a really tired week, and I just wanted to stay in the blankets and be all cozy, and I was thinking about all this stuff, but I was like, no, get up. Like you have so many wonderful things that are happening. And so I got up and I pulled out my journal, which is one of the tools that we'll suggest. I mean, this is a big one, but this is what I just got like a smaller one before when I first started doing this, and I would just start writing like how I want to feel. And I actually wrote it in a different place of like, this is going to be a beautiful day. Inspirational words are going to flow out of our minds, or out of our mouths. People are going to hear what they need to hear today. We are going to speak to the hearts of whoever needs to hear them. We are going to speak, and we're going to make ourselves more excited. We're going to feel alive, more alive than we've ever felt before. Like, these are the kinds of things that I wrote. And once you start writing, that momentum builds and more starts to flow, and it takes practice.
No, I was just gonna say, like, even like you're writing like feelings and how things are gonna happen, but it's really fun to even sit down and write like specifically what you want to happen, and then go back. I actually just went back to a journal entry from March 17th, which was the day that schools closed around here, and it was really interesting. I had a very positive outlook. And it's like exactly what has happened over the last 8 months. It was creepy, but it was like, I'm going, you know, we're gonna shift our lifestyles a little bit. I'm gonna finally get to homeschool my kids. We're gonna build a community. It was like, I'm gonna outsource some things, which I did with my beautiful son. But it was like, I knew I couldn't take things on myself, so I journaled, and you know, I'm gonna find a way to do all of these different things and have this community, have my kids home, enjoy every single day with them. And it was really cool. So to write specifics, I mean, writing the daily, like how we're gonna have our day is great, but writing what you really want for your future, and then going back and seeing, like, if you keep on track and you keep up with it, and you keep those positive thoughts and those feelings, and you kind of push away all the negativity. It's so hard, I know that, but like, just keep going back to it. Once or twice a day, keep going back to the positive outlook that you want and feel it, like Kim was saying, and journal. I think journaling is one of the most powerful tools, and not a lot of people do it. It's like something we were kind of we talked about when we were, teenagers. We had diaries.
Well, and school teaches you that writing is work, and it teaches us, like, that, and so just like reading, like a lot of us, like, once you're done school, you're like, I'm done reading and writing, like, for fun. And I just want to highlight, like, it's not necessarily pushing away the negative feelings, because acceptance is bliss, is like a really powerful phrase that one of my teachers taught me. Like, acceptance, who was just like a regular person in my meditation group, but he would say that every single day, and it's like accepting whatever happens, like whether it's milk spilled all over the floor that you just washed, or whether someone in your family dies, or whether you lose your job. Like, it could be something simple, it could be something big, but accepting that that's what is. Accepting that you feel like crap. Accepting that your heart is in the floor, and then moving forward. Because it's when we keep dwelling on it, and not that you shouldn't think about it, but know that this happened, and now something else is coming, because every end is a new beginning, no matter what we do in life. And so when the seed falls off the tree and it's now dying, it's a pine cone on the ground, that seed is going to grow a new tree. And that is what happens in our lives over and over and over again. So there's so much possibility, but only if we see it. Like, if we don't acknowledge that tree and make sure that there's water and make sure that the ground is fertile, then it's not going to grow. And so that's truly exactly what happens in our lives. So journaling is one strategy. Yeah. Creating some kind of a vision board or box, or just like collecting things of what you want, but truly feeling. Feel. And you can, like, every detail. Like, you can talk about, like, tomorrow, what event you're going to do. Like, you can talk about the weather. You can talk about the details of people's clothes. You can talk about the smiles and the conversations. Because especially in the beginning, once you make those details so rich, that's what's going to change your feeling. And then as you get deeper into it, you can be a little more vague. And then you're going to start to get even more, like, crazy cool things happening. But in the beginning, like, be really specific.
Do you think journaling is a good place for people to start?
I do.
Yeah. Do we have something good that they could watch or listen to? The secret's a little far out there.
The secret is one of the things. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of far out there. But I feel like the far out there is what?
Right, yeah, it depends where you are.
Yeah, depends on where you are. Abraham Hicks is how I got started, which is a channeled person, and that may be like way too much for some people. Florence Scovel Shinn. I mean, there's so many different books. If you're interested, reach out, and then we could like cater a recommendation to you.
To where
both of us have read
journey.
And watched so many things over the last 3 or 4 years. But we could send you something really specific. I mean, there's like really Christian resources. There are really totally secular resources. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. And then there's stuff that you can just create yourself of just like knowing, and I mean, meditating is the basis of it, but this is a hands-on approach that you can really do. We were actually talking about giving yourself, if this sounds totally insane and it doesn't seem like it could be possible, pick one random thing. So maybe like, like I just thought about it before, like frogs and toads. Like just think about frogs and toads, and you can think about whatever you want, but I'm gonna put it into your mind. Frogs and toads, green frogs and brown frogs, and toads with little spots. Great big frogs and little tiny frogs. And frogs that live in trees and toads that live under rocks. Think of the little brown one that might be at your door at night under the bright light. Think about the great big bullfrog statue that your kids might have climbed on at the zoo. Think about the little tiny frogs that they have in the bathtub. Think about all the little tiny plastic frogs. Think about, I mean, what kind of frogs, like, just think about
I just keep thinking of like the little
kinds of
squeezy
frogs, right?
And
Yeah, ones that like make little squeezy noises or like squirt water at the kids. Like just really think about a topic for 5 minutes. Or, you know, just this little amount is going to put something into your head. When you really focus on something, like, do you like frogs? Do you like the way they feel? Like, do you like the little bumps? Like frogs and toads that are in fairy tales, and the frog turns into a prince.
Tell them the point.
Frog. Well, I'm doing all this because what this is
really get it in your head.
I mean, I'm actually doing some of this for you. That once you start to focus on something, you're going to start to see it. I mean, you might even have an example of like when you buy a new shirt that you really love from the Gap, and now you notice everyone does it.
It always happens when you buy a new car.
Buy a new car is the one
think,
that
oh, it's so unique, and then you drive around and everybody has that car all of a sudden. It's not all of a sudden, it's your brain, it's where you are.
Energy goes where your attention, energy flows where your attention goes.
Yes.
And so wherever you are focused, you're gonna get stuff. So watch out in the next day and see if you see some frogs and toads. But really think about it. Take another few minutes when we're done and do that pondering. Maybe write about it, like draw a little picture of a frog, and then don't think about it anymore. Like don't look for it.
Right.
But
then you're gonna see it's gonna be really weird. It pops up.
Yeah,
like
when
I did this exercise, I did butterflies, and I hadn't really seen butterflies around here at all. But I did this exercise, and I think I saw like a dozen things with butterflies. I mean, I maybe one live butterfly, but like somebody's backpack had a butterfly, and somebody's car had a butterfly. Like it was just all over the place. So
it's things that you just don't notice.
Yeah, it's a nice exercise to really see how your mind works. There's a lot of different exercises, but this is one of the simplest, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that, and then parking spaces. I mean, I guess here it's not such a big thing, but I lived in the city, and that was one of my, like, like, I used to dread driving, because parking in the city is not easy. Like, parallel parking, you have to drive around, like, to find parking that's free, or, like, whatever. It's not easy. And so I always dreaded parking. And then one of the movies or things we watched was just, like, I don't worry about parking anymore. I expect there to be a parking spot when I get to where I'm going to go, and it's going to be a good parking spot. And then maybe I have to drive by once, but then I come back again and it's there. And I'm telling you, like, everybody who ever drove with me
I remember when you started doing this, you're like, I got every parking spot this week.
It's great when you expect something to happen. It happens. And that's like really just like a beginning, but finding something that's easy like that for you, like here in Yuma, probably not so much, but if you're in Philadelphia or in the city, that's like a good place to start. Just something that's really simple that you don't have a lot of emotion attached to. You like changing your job or buying a house or getting a new car when yours is not what you like. That's huge, and that's going to take a little bit of time for your beliefs to actually change. Like you need to really believe that it's possible. And that's hard. But a parking spot,
start little. Start with things like that. Start journaling what you really, really want for your life. And try to revisit it a couple times a day to start. It's really training your brain in a different way than we have our whole lives. Yeah. And when you do it, you're going to start realizing all these little things, like down to manifesting certain people into your lives, manifesting certain jobs. So I think we're going to leave you with that. If you have any questions or want some more resources, leave us a comment. You can always reach out to us in personal message. So
have a really great day.
Bye.
And thanks for watching.